So, 2 months ago, I set off on a grand adventure to Scotland, the holy land of malt whisky. Armed regrettably with little more than a cell phone camera and a microphone, I was able to bring back some footage of the unique sights and tastes I found there. If only I could do it justice so easily. Perhaps in the future Dave and myself will return, with a film crew in tow and truly capture the spirit of the place. But until then, shaky cameras and all, may I present the Single Malt Review, Destination Scotland. Moving on from Edinburgh, I continued north, into the Highlands proper and through the Cairngorms National Park. There I found myself quite compelled to make a stop. So moving north and leaving Edinburgh and the Royal Mile behind me, I just thought I'd stop and show you all the Cairngorm National Park. I don't know the name of this river I'm standing in, but I'm sure it's very significant. And I thought I'd take a moment just to ponder the fact that even if you take all the whisky out of Scotland, it remains one of the most beautiful, stark places in the world, especially if you like your nature. The cities are all very good and nice, and you can always sort of hear the groan and crack of history underfoot, but this is what I like. This is what I like to taste in the whisky, the country where it comes from, the terrain. This is Scottish terroir right here, freezing rivers, snow line 50 metres above me. This really is the stuff. So just take a moment, have a wee look around before I carry on up north to Argyll guest house where I'm staying in Tomintoul, where I've got some lovely visits planned. From there, it was on to Tomintoul, where I was due to stay, but not before I caught the last tour of the day at Glenfiddich, one of the very largest malt whisky distilleries in Scotland. For many people, Glenfiddich is probably their first introduction to Scotch whisky, so it's fitting that Glenfiddich will be my first stop of the Speyside distilleries. Let's have a wee look inside, see what they've got for us and the visitor's experience. Let's go! Sadly, Glenfiddich were not super keen on me filming inside the facilities, which really is fair enough. They have built a very valuable brand, and they're hardly going to trust an amateur like myself not to besmirch it on the internet. However, from the safety of a high-vis vest, I was able to take a little footage of the absolutely mighty stillhouse. As the first one I saw, it certainly brought into perspective the sheer scale of production behind some of our favourite drams. As far as the Glenfiddich visitor experience goes, I can recommend it. As prescriptive a choice as Glenfiddich may seem for a distillery visit, they've clearly put a great deal of time and investment into their visitors centre and tour, and it does pay off. Just don't expect any technical questions about chill filtration or the like to be answered. It's not really that kind of tour. I had more visits lined up for the next day, but not before stopping off at a rather ubiquitous river. And this one I did know the name of, all too well. Well, the river you can see behind me here is in fact the Spey River, which I'm on the side of, which I guess puts me on Speyside. Can't argue with that. So, whether a distillery is a Highland or a Speyside is a bit tricky really, because the Speyside River runs quite significantly through the Highlands, so that can make it a wee bit confusing. There is a line which is largely unpublished, so it's really up to the distillery to put themselves on one side or the other on it. More of a geographic thing than really a geological thing. There's no real terrain involved. The country is very much the same, and so there are a great many Highland distilleries that are in fact on the side of the Spey, so you'd call them Speyside, really. But anyway, never mind. I think I'm in Speyside right now, but over there I could be in Highlands. You just have to check the bottle. Next up was Glendronach, Dave's favourite distillery in the whole world, so I'd had better do it justice. So, Glendronach. Just driven past their massive warehouses. Find my way into the car park. It's a bit icy out here. Never mind. So, Glendronach, here I am outside the still house, which you can probably see behind me there. They're well in operation. If you could stand here right now, you'd smell the unmistakable smell of working stills and new make spirit coming out somewhere. Of course, the sherry matured spirit capital of the world, you'd have to say, Glendronach here, and also Dave's favourite distillery in the entire planet. So, might have to see if I can send him a bottle. We'll see. Now, unfortunately, they don't allow any recording or photographs inside the plant, so we'll just have to see what we can do. Might get them to record the tasting for me. We'll just have to find out. Otherwise, I'll have to pick up a few souvenirs and do one back outside. Anyway, let's see. One of the best things about visiting distilleries in person is the special expressions and bottlings that can be sourced only from the distillery. And the Glendronach manager's cask did not disappoint.
The fifth manager's cask was done because of demand. Because the fact is it's the hand fill, so the bottle on the table here is for you to put your name on and we sign it, duty stamp on, and you're allowed to fill the bottle on your own. It's also got my manager's signature on it, so of course it's hand chosen by the manager from the warehouse. Due to high demand, hence this is the fifth time we've chosen a different cask to put on. So we'll let you try that and see what you think yourself. It's just amazing how our whiskies are so good because of course it's all natural colour and non-chill filtered. So therefore the process has been that of putting it in an extremely good, extremely expensive cask and allowing it to mature. If you never knew the age of that, for people guessing a lot older, I mean that one's just 12 years old now, but people often go a little bit higher, I would say about 15, 18.
They see the dark colour from the sherry, and that's, a lot of people associate colour with age so arbitrarily that's often a mistake.
Then you see some lighter whiskies that are a lot older, so it often isn't the case.
So is this first film?
First
It
film,
was, yeah.
of course.
That's where that lovely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lovely
That's a
dark
good
colour
one.
from. Excellent. Right, well, I'll wind this up with the other one.
Okay.
So these two are at 46.
The 18s and 46 and 48 for the 21.
48, goodness. Your percentages, they're so much more generous than other things. It's such a long way from the old days of everything being at
40%.
40%. It's just so, and it gives you that opportunity to add your own water as well. Which
Well, you can't go wrong with the water here because that's the
I do
water that
like.
we use in production as well, so we're a private source there.
Right, so they've very generously given me 3 of the good ones here. We've got the 18-year-old Allardyce, which used to be the tawny port finish, which is no longer, much to Dave's chagrin. I'm sure he'll find another bottle of that sometime, and I hear they're thinking about bringing it back, so he might just be lucky with that one. But in the meantime, we've got the Allardyce, which is the 100% Oloroso matured bottle at 46%, unchilled, filtered and uncoloured, just like all Glendronach, which is very, very good to see as always. And it's not their darkest, most obviously sherried whiskey. It's quite, as far as the range goes, quite medium. It has a freshness and lightness of body that the other ones, except for the new Highland, of course, which is quite a different animal, which you can see on our previous video, it's probably one of the lighter bodied ones that you can get. Only in context with the rest of Glendronach, of course. They make a very, very full whiskey. Anyway, let's see about the next one, which is the 21-year-old Parliament. Bit of a dry spell for Parliament in the Australasian market, although I hear they've kept it going in the UK and Europe in the meantime, so that must just been to shore up production stocks. But it is coming back in Australasia, so you should be able to find that one on the shelves for about the last 6 months until we buy it all again. So 21 years old and bottled at 48% this time, so a wee bit stronger. And this one might just be my favourite of the standard range. It's really, really very complex, and you've got remarkable coffee and chocolate coming in now, just like you tend to see with these older sherried whiskies. It's remarkably smooth. Even at full strength, there's almost no burn to it. Were I to guess, this one was quite generously top dressed to make it the very best it could be, and it really is very, very good. Definitely my favourite of the range. People talk about Christmas cake and that sort of thing, but this one really does bring those flavours. Christmas cake going into date cake with lots of buttery, spicy notes that you just don't see from sherry finished whiskies. The magic of Glendronach, I think, is often the fact that it's been in sherry the whole way, which produces such a more complete sherry matured flavour. And the last one, which they've given me a very generous pour of here, is the manager's cask. So this is a 12-year-old, but straight from the cask, which you would have seen just before, and cask strength. So though it doesn't smell like it, this one is going to need a bit of water. However, I'll taste it first just to see. On the nose there's maple syrup, treacle, a bit of preserved raisin. It's just a little bit rummy. There's a bit of Jamaican rum thing going on in there. Brown sugar. A little bit of citrus, orange, candied peel. Really quite scrumptious. So I'll add quite a bit of water because there's quite a bit of whiskey and it'll be pretty strong. And that's brought the peel out. And orange, just a wee bit more, and there's a bit of banana sneaking in now, which is quite strange, but never mind, we'll go with it. Oh, that's still very strong. I'll just add a wee bit more. Oh, that's remarkable. I do wish Dave could be here. He would be having a party. I'm so sorry, Dave. I promise I'll send something back. I really do. In fact, you might see that episode before you see this one, because Dave will be able to knock that back together back home in New Zealand long before I get back with this footage. So there you go. You might know more than me. Chocolate and coffee, like I got in the Parliament, only a little more fiery, given the young age and the very, very high proof. Quite a punchy, quite a powerful, youthful one here. Marvellous to see though, and something you won't see anywhere but the distillery. One of the real perks of being in Scotland on location. Lovely. Anyway, we'll keep moving. We've got Glenfarclas lined up this afternoon, so we better get back on the road, and we will see you then. Slide. As far as distillery visits went, the best was very much yet to come. But for that, you'll have to join me for episode 3 of the Single Malt Review's Destination Scotland, which will be coming very soon, I promise. In the meantime, do remember to like and subscribe. It really does help us out.